This is a game that I had absolutely no intention of playing. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, some satire. This looks like it'll be a fun game for about an hour or two, and I wrote it off completely. But then something strange happened. It started making waves with players and YouTubers that I respected. So I picked it up, and honestly, I'm pretty happy that I did. This isn't going to be a full in-depth review of the game. I'm not going to be diving deep into weapons, armor, ammo, locations, or enemy types. It'll focus more around the feel of the game, what the game means for the games industry at large, and why I feel it deserves your money and time. At the time of making this video, I've only put around 30 hours into it so far, which is no small feat, but compared to the game it's parodying, it's small potatoes. Imagine someone playing Escape from Tarkov for 30 hours and doing a review. That'd be wild. With that out of the way,
let's get dangerous!
Escape from Duckov is a single-player light duck parody on Escape from Tarkov. You loot, shoot, and extract. Throughout the game, you unlock new maps, tasks, guns, armor, and many of the different ammo types. That's just the short of it, but the game has a lot more depth than I expected. You've also got skill trees, storage unlocks, flea market unlocks, Bitcoin farming, and that's just scratching the surface. This game feels like a real RPG, and it has a sense of progression that a lot of other modern titles don't have. One of the really big things that sold me on the game instantly was the passion and love put behind this title. The developers could have easily just taken an easy payday and made something simple and milked the Escape from Tarkov audience. They could have seen it as more of a joke project than an actual full-length game, but here we are in 2025 with a game that's optimized, bug-free, and feels complete when you finish the game. Meet the developers behind Escape from Duckov, Team Soda, and they aren't new to the scene either. They've put out multiple different games that they hoped would explode in popularity, but unfortunately they didn't. Snake Force has a 93% positive rating and was released in 2021. Their first ever game to hit Steam, a free-to-play, fast-paced, side-scrolling shooter that is based off the original classic Snake. This didn't really hit the mark. Looking at the Steam charts right now, it's only got one player, which is basically a flop. But this did not stop them. In 2022, they released Soda Crisis, a shoot-'em-up side-scroller where you play as a mysterious character equipped with high-tech gear and fierce combat skills. Unfortunately, this one also flopped, despite having a very positive rating with nearly 3,000 reviews. And then we have Escape from Duckov, a title that finally exploded on the Steam charts, peaking at over 300,000 players with a 24-hour average of 151,000. This is the part of the video where I want to talk about why I think games like this matter and why they're important to the games industry at large. Team Soda seems like a Cinderella story to me, a passionate set of developers who hone their skills through previous titles and put their hard-earned experience behind a much bigger passion project. And when I say they're passionate, I really do mean that they are passionate about the game. The head developer of Team Soda had over 1,400 hours of Escape from Tarkov himself. Jeff noticed that in Tarkov, a lot of players really enjoyed the PvE experience. That is also the essence of Escape from Tarkov. Not just combat, but also the progression and exploration parts. He also went on to say in the game developer interview, still, that PvE craving wasn't really being met these days. So our dev team put themselves in the players' shoes and focused on what they truly wanted. What players value in the game shouldn't be just money or high-value collectibles. Sometimes bringing back a very mundane everyday item determines the success or failure of a quest or a key progression milestone. Even if a player fails in extraction or loses valuable gear, they still have the motivation to go win again. Fundamentally, this is what I'm talking about, putting yourself in the player's shoes and going based off of what you'd like to see as a player. Games that are releasing today are a hellscape, filled with bloated game time, weekly quests, daily quests, limited time events, microtransactions, paid DLC, and numerous other annoying things. But Duckov is a little different. They're not rushing you with FOMO, there isn't any microtransactions, and the game doesn't feel bloated in the slightest. You're not rushed to do certain things. You can take your time and enjoy the game for what it is, a PvE experience. It's not about the Omni movement or the most optimized looting route. It's about the experience and what you feel you're getting out of it. Take for example, I've just been messing around for the most part in Duckov. I explore, I kill bosses, get better guns, armor, explore some more, and got a couple times, and then came back and started doing tasks. They don't force you into certain things. It takes your hand and says, take your time. You can participate when you want to. We'll be here. Instead of, if you haven't gotten your sniper kills by the end of the day, you'll miss out on the last day of the battle pass. And you don't want that. You don't want to miss out on the last day of the battle pass, do you? And honestly, it's refreshing knowing that if I get a bad spawn in Duckov, that I'm not going to be run down by some ogre of a sweat breathing heavy into their mic. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've gotten head eyes my first 2 raids of the day, whether it be Arena Breakout, Delta Force, or Escape from Tarkov, and felt, that's enough for today. I'll see you guys later, and losing any kind of motivation to play the game for the rest of the day. Sure, you can die in Duckov and lose your equipment and be mad about it, but ultimately it's a much more relaxed environment, and you can go back to it whenever you want to. To summarize, Team Soda really hit the nail on the head with this one and put their weight behind a fantastic product, and the games industry as a whole should recognize and take notes. We don't just want loaded open world multiplayer games, we also want a passionate single player experience that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Seriously, who has the money to pay upwards of $70 per game in this economy and not get their money's worth? There are a lot of connections to Escape from Tarkov. I mean, it's literally in the title, but it's not a one-for-one copy. It definitely has some of the same mechanics and the same map names, but this is a brand new world to explore. When I first booted up the game, I figured the first map would be Ground Zero, which it was, but it's not the same Ground Zero that we've grown to hate. Instead of a concrete jungle with loads of unlooted buildings and rats, you've got camps with wooden walls, tents, and campfires. Instead of scavs that'll take your head off with one shot, you've got ducks that use bows and pistols. And yes, there are scav bosses, but they're mostly satire. A good example of this is Triple Shot Man. I sure wonder who they're talking about. It's a vibe. They're not really taking themselves too seriously, yet they're still referring to certain things like homages. They even have interchange in the game, but instead it's called Supermarket. And instead of Killa, it's Vita or Vita, something like that. There are marked rooms that are spread across one map, and the quest lines are very, very similar to the ones in Tarkov. And the bunker refers to your hideout, except it's also the location where you visit your traders and build your other things, making it incredibly easy to prepare for a raid so you can get in there faster. I'd almost say that the bunker is a lot like the hideout from Path of Exile. You can place things wherever you want and optimize it to your liking. I'm not going to bother going over every single fine detail that connects Escape from Tarkov to Escape from Duckov. I think that if you're already sold in the game, that you should probably try and find those things yourself. You never know what's lurking around the next corner of the map, and that's what makes things exciting and interesting. This is going to be a pretty short section. I don't have many gripes, if any at all, to be honest. The lab certificates, which are basically labs cards, have way too low of a spawn chance. I'm stuck on one of the tasks that require you to turn in 3 of them for a task, and I just can't seem to find them. I've been farming certain areas hoping to find them naturally, but I feel like this is taking way too long. It kind of feels like a roadblock for me, just because I want to play labs more often, but I can't. It's a really small gripe, but one that feels really big to me personally. I'd suggest maybe making them more accessible for task rewards, or maybe making them a higher spawn chance in filing cabinets or boss loot like they are in Tarkov. I could also just be incredibly unlucky, who knows. The flea market takes way too long to replenish. It also has way too little slots. When I was going through the tree, I was really hoping that it would knock down the time considerably, but it still feels really, really long. Personally, I would make it a flat rate for refreshes instead of 4 hours for 1 out of 4 refreshes. It seems a little ridiculous, but it's also one of the reasons why I log on every single day. It just sucks logging on after 4 hours only to see 1 refresh, and it's complete and utter dog shit. Other than that, I really don't have any other complaints. The game hasn't crashed or bugged out or done anything worth complaining about. Like I said, it was a really, really small section. Escape from Duckov is a sleeper hit for me, and I personally hope that some DLC comes out pretty soon. I would easily pay for it and help support this game. More and more we're starting to see these indie developers put out far, far better experiences than what the titans of the industry can muster, and it really makes you wonder why. Is it a lack of talent? Are they out of touch with their audience? Or is it simply the higher ups meddling, trying to inject microtransactions into every facet of your life? Regardless, it's a problem in games like Escape from Duckov pull up the rug and shine a light on what's rotten in the game's industry. Instead of hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on a game, they spend under $1 million, and honestly, that should speak volumes. If you love Escape from Tarkov, you should at least try this game out. I know it doesn't have the insane PvP that some of you like to inject directly into your bloodstream, but it's still got a solid gameplay loop and tons of references that you might find interesting. Also, there's a multiplayer mod. Thought I'd just throw that out there before I end the video. That's it for now. If you guys found this video
Limbo, it's been a while. It's time to come back. Take your sweet candy ass back to Tarkov. Your life belongs to me.
Wait, no, I don't want to, no.